On school day 143, I'm Jay Robert. The push for the NBA playoffs concludes tomorrow night. But there's a huge race for that 8th spot in the East, and still a 4 spot is battling for in the West. As we are on the final day before the NHL playoffs, which we will have coverage tomorrow, starting on the time on your screen should be 5 o'clock tomorrow night. It might be a bit hard to read that if you're not full screen. So 5 o'clock. Tomorrow night. Then we'll be here 5 o'clock Thursday on WAS Junior 23. I will not be here Thursday at 5 o'clock. And Friday 5:05, I'll be here on SN. Saturday, we don't know the time yet. But it should be on WAS, and then Sunday on WAS at 1. Monday, we'll be right here on SRM. Yep, 5:35. I have things to do on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. But actually, Monday doesn't have to be 5. We're probably going to move Mondays up to 5 o'clock. Actually, let me check the official time. I don't even know if 5:35 is the official time. No, that was what we had on the document. So this says 5:35. I'm going to move it to 5:05. I'll make it adjusted on this document. 5:05. Again, the SN Sports channel will get anything that does not air on WAS, or does or does not air on WAS. All the times that we're not here on SRM, it should be available on SN Sports. We're not 100% sure that. And then all the game ones tomorrow night in the NHL. So just 5 of them, actually. Not all of them. We're not ready for all of them. And then we've got a couple tomorrow. Thursday night, USA Network, NBCSN. Friday night, some game 2s on USA, NHL, and NBCSN. Saturday on NBC and NBCSN. Sunday on NBC, CNBC, and NBCSN. And then Monday on CNBC and NBCSN. Tuesday on NBCSN, CNBC. Wednesday on NBCSN, USA Network. As we get closer to the playoffs in the NHL, the nerves start to be felt. And right now on NBA TV, Oklahoma City right now destroying Minnesota in the second quarter. 43-25. So still a lot that does matter now that we're down the stretch. I'm not sure if the Pacers can be caught. The Pacers not clinched, actually. The Pacers, they could fall out of the playoffs. So if the Bulls win, they're in. No questions asked. The Pacers win, they're in. The Heat, I think, need to win and either a Pacers or a Bulls loss. The Pacers on a 4-game winning streak. So they've all won their last game. The only team in the playoffs in the East, in the top 9, that is not won their last, that's not on an active win streak, is the Cavaliers, which have lost 3 in a row and lost the first place position. They still could get up to first place if they get some help. They're not going to get any help tonight, but they could tomorrow. Bucks and Celtics. It's a lot of games tipping off 7 Central. Bucks and Celtics, one of them. And then the Cavs will tip off at 7 as well. You can see that at 1 in Canada on TSN and in the United States on Fox Sports Ohio. Toronto getting into the playoffs this year. They are expected to be a 3 seed. I'm not sure if the Wizards can catch them. The Raptors did not win their division this year. All 3 division crowns have been, all 6 division crowns, I should say, have been decided. In the West, still 4th place position under grabs, but other than the 4th place, no games between Western Conference opponents matter, other than the Clippers game and the Jazz game. On Wednesday night. Clippers will play late at 9:30 Central. Jazz will play 8 o'clock Central. Both teams have a home game. Clippers right now the tiebreaker. So the Clippers a win and they will play the Jazz no matter what, but if the Clippers win, then they will host a game 7 potentially, and that's important. You get game 1, 2, 5, 7 instead of 2 or 4 or 3, 4, and 6. I'd rather have 1, 2, 5, and 7 than 3, 4, and 6. If you're the Clippers, and especially if you play the Jazz team that found themselves at the top of their division, in a division that sometimes is better than what they were this year. The worst losing streak in the NBA right now is the 76ers. They've lost 7 in a row. I think that's the worst one active in the NBA. So in the Nets, they beat the Bulls So you better watch out if you're the Bulls, because this Nets team, they have been playing phenomenal, but only one road win since the 27th of March. That was in Philadelphia by a substantial amount. But again, these Nets have won 4 of their last 6. They did lose to the Celtics by 9 on the 10th, but that Celtics team very hungry. But will this Nets team deliver on the road? And right now, Tuesday night baseball rather, on ESPN, it's St. Louis and Washington. A must-see game on ESPN. So the Nets beat the Bulls 107-106 on just the 8th, which was Saturday. And you've got to watch out if you're the Bulls. A team that got 4 of their 20 wins this month. 4 of your 20 wins come in April. This is a team that you've got to watch out for. They're dangerous. 4 of their 20 wins, that's a fifth of their wins, have come in April. In the 10 days of April, they played 6 games in April. They have 4 wins. That's over 500. But sadly, their best win in that is the Hawks. They did not beat, but they didn't lose in the Orlando game and Boston game. They didn't lose by a lot. They lost by like a combined 21. I wouldn't say they got blown out. And then on the 30th of March, they lost by 1 point on the road. 28th of March, they lost by 5. So again, this Nets team, you better watch out if you're a Bulls fan. You're not in yet. Just because you're playing the Nets does not mean that you are going to be in the playoffs. You got to have an X next to your name to get into those playoffs. Only a couple teams will have that luxury. Come this season. So, and now we're going to talk about my thoughts on what will happen in the Eastern Conference playoffs. J-Rod's thoughts are brought to you by SN Sports Live tomorrow night on SN. Well, first of all, this Eastern Conference is better than they were last year. I'd have to argue. Last year, you could see the Cavs were the dominant team, and maybe even the Raptors. This year, you've got a couple teams that could come out of this conference. Primarily, I think you're going to see the Cavaliers and the Celtics in that conference final. Whether it be the Celtics that claim the number 1 throne in this East, and Cavs on a 3-game losing streak. How are you going to respond from that? And it's not easy to recover from a 3-game losing streak. Because your team is looking backwards and looking at what they did wrong, what they could have done, instead of what they can do in this next game they don't get it together, and they go into the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak. Even though they're not going to be playing the best team in the NBA, they're still going to be playing a playoff team. It's not like you're playing, I don't know, the Suns or something. Suns not that good this year. I don't want to play the Nets, okay? I'm just going to tell you that. I don't want to play the Nets. I play any team that's not in the playoffs. It's not the Nets. Because the Nets are legit. And don't let anybody say that they're not. They've been legit this month. They're not legit this season. I'm just saying that you don't want to play them. Maybe you do, but I don't know what your mind's thinking. And you never want to play a team that's winning. Even if you're beating the bad teams, you're still winning. And winning is how you get momentum. And maybe the Nets are a team that could be in the playoffs next year. But I think we're going to see the Bulls in. I think they will beat the Nets. They will. And I don't know who the Pacers have. Let's check who the Pacers have next. Pacers have on my schedule, they got let's see here. Pacers. They've got the Hawks on ESPN. And I don't know, can the Pacers catch the Hawks? So the Hawks have a game right now, and no, I don't think the Pacers are going to be able to catch Hawks. Hawks right now up big over Charlotte on Fox Sports Southeast. Okay. Okay. I think the Hawks will beat the Pacers. The question is, will the Heat win against the Wizards? And Wizards, they don't have anything to play for. So well, I'm actually going to say the Pacers to win. The Wizards win tomorrow night. Maybe the Heat win. I don't know. I'm not like an expert at the NBA. I know that the Wizards are decent. Well, all I know is that the Bulls wouldn't mind playing the Cavs. and right now they'd be playing the Celtics as an 8. And maybe that's why the Cavs lost these last 3 games. So they could get to a 2 seed. They wouldn't have to play the Bulls. But if the Bulls win and the Pacers lose, then they'll be playing the Bulls. So I don't know what this is. You'd still have to play the Bulls eventually if they win. But if you're a Bulls fan, it's looking more towards the bright side than the dark side. I think the Bulls fans have seen the dark side plenty of times, especially if they've been a Cubs fan. I think you've seen plenty of that dark side. You live in that Chicago area. You know how it feels to be a Chicago fan. Unique. I will tell you that. I'm not a Chicago fan, but I grew up with a family. I should say I'm growing up with a family that is a Cubs fan in some fashion. But I didn't mind that the Cubs won the World Series. I'd rather have them win than the Indians, you know. I was cheering for. I don't know who I was cheering. I think I was cheering for the. I honestly have no clue, but that was the MLB. We're talking about the NBA. And then in these playoff matchups in the East, in 7. So I think, and then I think the Celtics will take the 1. The Celtics will take the 1. Then I've got 2 going to Cavs. And so Cavs against Pacers. That series, I think I've got the Cavs going in 5. It'll be an interesting series to watch. You know, the Pacers are a very old team against the Cavaliers, which is a very talented team. It'll be very interesting to see that series play out. That series, again, going to start this weekend, if it happens, because a lot can't happen on the final night of a season. It's not like we're watching, I don't know what we'd be watching, but Cavaliers, they could be facing the Pacers in the first round. We've seen a lot of LeBron James playing the Pacers, and we'll see more of that again this year because there's a pretty good likelihood that the Cavs will play the Pacers now that they are sitting in 2 position. The Pacers are so the Bulls have the easiest opponent. And the Nets on paper, but the Nets do have momentum. But I still think it's going to be easier to beat the Nets than it would be to beat the Hawks or whoever the other teams are playing. The Hawks and the who are the Heat playing? I honestly don't remember. Wizards, they're playing. So, yeah, Hawks and Wizards, you don't want to mess with those teams. But the Bulls and the Nets are easier than those teams. So, Bulls fans, get ready for the playoffs because you're coming. Be included in this year's playoffs. I don't think they were included last year. So they might have been. My team's never included. We're just that bad. I'm not going to tell you who my team is because we're so bad. It's embarrassing. Okay, I have no clue what just happened. That's probably a Bulls fan down there. In the Bulls lounge. It's not my Buick. Yee. And it'll be an interesting way to end our season in the playoffs. Again, tomorrow night, coverage right here on SN. We'll talk more about these playoffs tomorrow. And we'll be talking in the NHL playoffs. 5 games tomorrow night across 3 networks: USA Network, NBCSN, and NHL Network. The USA Network, NHL Network, and NBCSN will carry 5 games across those 3 networks. To conclude, to be in our first round, we will have 3 of the 4 series from the East, or 3 to 5 from the East, and then 2 from the West. And then Thursday, we'll get the other games going on NBCSN and USA Network. Then Friday, we're back with more. Front Track It's been a presentation of SN Sports. It's School Day 143. And I hope to see you next time. But for now, peace out. Today's telecast is sponsored by SN Sports. Peace.